Okay, guys, tonight's sponsor for this year, Rabbi Shmuley Eagle, is going to have his wedding in Hashem June 6th. Oh, yeah. Grand Heights, yes.
Oh, no.
Yeah, save the date. June 6th, whoever can go.
You just spoke to him, no?
I don't know if I can go out try to get a ticket.
Wasn't that him?
Cheap enough. I know tickets are so expensive.
It's a joke.
So, Chia Adonai Morel Rabbeinu Melech HaMashiach Le'olam Vayed.
Amen.
So, Rabbeinu HaMashiach, it's a beautiful, beautiful sikha. Every sikha is beautiful, right? Glidot. Oh, the ice cream is in the freezer. The ice cream is in the freezer.
Don't forget that it's gonna melt it.
Rabbi Yitzchak, please. Huh?
In the car, they're gonna melt it.
No, this freezer. So, this is a direct continuation of the last sikha. The Rebbe said, trying to explain what we have to do in order to bring Geula. And the Rebbe says that we find that in the name of the object, we find the mahus, the content. We can learn everything about the object by learning from its name, whatever the name is. The Rebbe says we see that there's 5 different expressions for Geula, like Heveti, Tzeti, Lakachti, Ga'alti, and there's another one, Behevesi, and then the Rebbe says, but we see that Geula was the one that was chosen from all 5 expressions to be the one to actually express the most and teach the most about what Geula is about. So the Rebbe says, if we learn about the name, so we're going to find out also not just what Geula is, but what we have to do now to bring Geula much faster. So, Rebbe continues that what will happen when Mashiach comes, the same thing that happened when we left Mitzrayim. So the Rebbe says, like last week, the Rebbe says we see that Mitzrayim was not conquered, was not burned to ashes. Hashem killed Mitzrayim and finished them off. He didn't do that. Mitzrayim, first of all, the Rebbe mentions from the name itself to see, we have to go back a step. The Rebbe said, the word Geula itself, we see that there's 2, Geula is Geula, redemption, but Goyla is in the word Geula. We only add the Aleph. So the Rebbe says, what do we see from here? These are 2 extreme opposites. Galus and Geula, 2 exact, 2 perfect opposites. How could they exist in one word? If you want to choose day and night, you have to choose 2 words. Yom ve'layla, or bad and good, tov, ra, or choshech. If you want to describe 2 opposites, you always have to use 2 terminologies, 2 expressions. Yeah, how could it be that in the word Geula, you have the word exile as well? So the Rebbe says, from here we learn a very big lesson. First of all, that everything will stay intact. When Mashiach comes, the world, just like the word Geula itself, stays intact. We don't take another word, we exchange it with another word. We leave it intact. All we have to do is just add the Aleph, that shows.
Isn't that only for the first?
Huh?
Isn't that only for the first?
Yeah. The Rebbe goes to speak. No. Also covers the second kufa. It's the whole point of the sikha. So the Rebbe says that everything will stay the same, just like the Rambam says. The world will remain the same. Nothing will change. We're not going to bring a different world. It's not going to be different. We're not going to finish off with this world and going to start a different world. It's going to be the same world. It's going to be us, the same people. Nothing will change. But we will see Hashem. We will see the truth about everything. Everything will reveal Hashem, and you will see the truth in everything. You will see Hashem in everything. You will see the truth. Now the truth is disguised. You don't see Hashem. You don't see everything. Olam milshon he'elem. Ha'olam mechaseh. Mitzad atzmo mechaseh ala elokut. When Mashiach comes, everything will be revealed. And we see something interesting in Mitzrayim. What happened over there was the objective was to teach Mitzrayim a lesson. Was to not to kill the Egyptians, but to bring into the acknowledgement, to bring them to the knowledge, to bring them to the understanding that Hashem is the master of the world. So therefore Hashem brought the 10 plagues. Hashem could have finished them off, but He didn't want to. Hashem wanted to leave the Egyptians as they are, as the enemy. מהאוהב, מהאויב, להפוך. שיהיה לך אוהב. From the enemy to make a friend, to make somebody really actually in a sense.
Oh, so that's also two opposites and they're similar.
Exactly. Wow. From the one who was going all the way against Hashem, against the Torah, against...
Yeah, but they were killed in this.
What?
But a lot of them were killed in the end anyway.
Yes. Yes, but inadvertently. In other words, nothing was maliciously done against the Egyptians. Everything was... He warned them before every Makkah. He tried to save their lives. He told them 3 weeks before any Makkah came about, he would only warn them. Makkah is coming. Go home. Do this. Do tshuva.
Sounds like
whatever it is.
Yeah, it sounds like it's,
The point was, so we see here, from here, Geula does not mean that you're demolishing, like you're demolishing a building. You're destroying the building and now you're starting a new building. No, Geula is not like that. Geula is, you're taking the existing building and you're making it nice, you're making it beautiful. You're using the same building. What he wanted to do, what Hashem wanted to do with all this was to take the Egyptians, and the Rebbe says, they came to the understanding, and even those who didn't understand, then Neshama understood, Mazlayu Chazi, then Neshama understood, but they came, most of the Egyptians were smart, the Rebbe says, and they understood, Hashem Ubalabayit, He's the master of the world. That's Geula. When you bring your enemy to realization and understanding who Hashem is, that's real Geula. This is what's going to happen with the world. In other words, Mitzrayim is a prototype of the future redemption. Whatever happened in Mitzrayim, that's what's going to happen now. Nothing different. Then we see another thing is we left with all their property. Everything they had, we left them like homeless. Everything they had, they gave us. Even if we didn't want it, they gave us. And what was the reason for that? That shows how deep they understood everything. They had such love to the Jew. They had such understanding, deep understanding of who Hashem is. And such understanding, deep understanding of what their mistake was, that they decided... Oh, I'm sorry. Huh?
Can I flip it around? To be facing you, no?
That doesn't matter to me.
no,
What, you don't want to? I can do
I don't want
that.
to be in the camera.
Okay.
Go behind them. What?
That's fine.
Go step by yourself.
So
Now you're the most.
this is why they gave us all their property. So the Rebbe comes to explain now the second thing about Geula that we learn is that we elevate everything. Only through going down to Mitzrayim we can come to Geula. In other words, and this is the second thing we learn about Geula. The second thing we learn about this is that only through this world, only through the Galus can we come to Geula. First thing we learned is that we have to bring the world to a recognition of God. We have to make the world understand there's a God. So this is what we're doing now. Just like the Eden did in Mitzrayim. They did it in a different way, but we're doing the same thing right now. Throughout 2,000 years in Galus, we are doing mitzvahs. We're spread out all over the world. We do Torah, we do mitzvahs. We even bring closer the Goyim. Not just, we bring in the whole world. What's going to happen when Mashiach comes? And somebody knows the Rambam over there. That Kol Asik Lo Yesek Kol Olam Kolo Ela Ladat Hashem Vat includes the Goyim. We are making the whole world recognize Hashem. We are teaching the Goyim their 7 mitzvahs, not just the Jews. The Jews and the Goyim, Lahavdil, alike, will be learning Torah on the deepest levels. This is through now we are making the world recognize Hashem. The Rebbe says, okay, we are doing what we did in Egypt. We made the world understand there's Hashem. Mitzrayim understood 100% there's Hashem. By the time Moshe Rabbeinu was finished, Mitzrayim really got a good lesson what Hashem is, what Hashem is about. The Rebbe says we're doing the same thing right now. But we see something very interesting in Mitzrayim when we left, we didn't just make the world recognize that there is a Shem, we also accepted the Torah. That's a level of godliness that's higher than the world. First level of godliness is called the Lupo Shel Olam, the master of the world. We make the world recognize as the master of the world. Then we receive the Torah panim panim. We saw atzmut. Atzmut means Hashem himself, not just levels of Hashem or revelations of Hashem. Hashem himself. Atzmut Maut. So the Rebbe says, before we said Alufo Shel Olam, we want to teach the world, we want to show the world the level that Hashem is here, that Hashem is the master of the world. That's what we achieve in Geula. But here we're talking about levels in godliness. When the Yidden received the Torah from Hashem, they received that smooth. We received the highest levels of godliness.
So the goal is a Yerida?
Huh?
The goal is a Yerida from Matan Torah? The goal is, you said it's...
No, Geula, it's going to be higher, much higher.
But you said the goal is just to reveal to the Goyim that they...
To reveal the whole world, the whole world. The whole world is the master of the world. There's a master of the world, Hashem, that's Alufo Shel Olam, that's the first level. But then we see that it was much higher than that. We received the Torah. Also, we are told in the future we are going to receive not just what we received in the Torah, we're going to receive the highest level of the Torah. Sodot HaTorah. Yishakeni min shikot piu. He's going to kiss me with, what does that mean? Torah chadasha me'iti tetzeh. That the levels of the Torah that we cannot learn now, we cannot, no human, even Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai could not come to the level of these secrets. Me'iti tetzeh, only from Hashem. These levels of Torah, Sodot Torah that we're going to accept are going to be way beyond any comprehension that any human in every generation could come to know. The Rebbe says, these levels are also in the word Geula, because Geula includes all the times, even the times when we're going to accept these levels. But it has to be, like we said, from Gola, Geula. We just adding the Aleph. We said something very important. We have to understand one thing, that through Geula we come to Geula. We cannot come to Geula without Geula. We cannot come to Geula without exile. We cannot reach those levels without going through exile. This is what we learned, because we are not, you see the word Gola in the word Geula. What does that mean? Gola builds up Geula. Because the word Geula is made up from, all the letters are Gola. All the letters comprise the word exile. That means that we are building, all the building blocks of Geula are in Gola, are in exile. We are building that house. So somebody's going to say, oh, how did you get to that house? Because you built it. You accomplished it. You cannot have a finished product without working on it. You did not do anything. You're not going to get anything. Gola is the makeup of Geula. So the Rebbe says, to reach those levels, where we're going to get the highest levels of godliness, which means, if you know a little bit Chassidut, you heard of these terms before. There's Memale Kol Almin, that's the master of the world. Sovev Kol Almin means a godliness which is above the world, which transcends the world, but still relevant to the world. You know, Sovev Kol Almin comes from the Torah. Comes from learning Torah. But then you have Atzmut U'Maut. Atzmut U'Maut is not Sovev Kol Almin. That's the highest level. That's Hashem himself. There's godliness that is in the world, that's Memale. There's godliness that is above the world, that's Sovev. And there's a godliness that it's not godliness anymore. That's Him, Hashem himself, that's Atzmut. That's the deepest levels of the Torah. The deepest level. That's it's called Mochin Be'etzim. In other words, there's wisdom, but wisdom that's related to your emotions, to the midot. So now we're learning Chassidut. Even the Chassidut we learn now is in order to daven better, in order to feel Hashem, to feel love and fear to Hashem. It's all Chassidut, that's the secrets of the Torah, but that's Chassidut that's related, that's Mochin, that's intellect, that's related to midot, to our midot. Says the Rebbe, we have to be doing something now in Gola in order to deserve. We are working on it now to deserve these levels in the future. What do we do now that parallels these sort of levels that we're going to get in the future? What are we doing now that parallels that? So the Rebbe says like this. Alufo shel olam, the lowest level of godliness, alufo shel olam, malek olamin, is by being dati, shomer Torah mitzvot. By doing the Torah mitzvot like we're doing now, we are actually making ourselves obedient to Hashem. We are recognizing that Hashem is in the world. Wow.
Well, it's raining?
We are recognizing Hashem is in the world. We are also making the world recognize that it's Hashem. That's the first level. That's how we're preparing the world to this level of called Memala Kol Amin, the godliness that Hashem is the master of the world. That's why we're going to see it. We're going to see it openly when Mashiach comes. What's the next level? The Rebbe says by learning Torah, but not just by learning minimal learning, like minimum learning, like what you have to do, what you don't have to do. No. Don't forget, when Mashiach comes, we're going to learn. Lo yeh kol ha'aseh, we're not going to do nothing but learn. So by learning now, really delving into our learning now, we are bringing the world to the level of godliness called Sovev Kol Amin. Torah is from Sovev Kol Amin. Torah is above the world. So we are actually preparing the world for this level. That's why we're going to deserve it. In other words, we're going to get this level.
Torah is what you're preparing for.
In other words, learning Torah now is revealing Sovev Kol Amin in the world right now. We don't see it openly. When Mashiach comes, we'll see
At the
it.
beginning of one of the Prakim in Tanya says that everything that we're doing now is like
Lamed Zayin?
Lamed Zayin, right? Yeah.
That's what it means. I personally never understood that. I never understood what that meant. Now I understand, because he says through our actions now, it's true. We're not
It's like we're filling up the bank, but we can't see it yet.
exactly. We are bringing those levels about, and then the Rebbe says, amazing. You know, if you take the Aleph, because remember we are putting the Aleph into the Geula. In other words, it's Gola, but the Aleph itself, if you read Aleph, if you take the word Aleph, Lamed Pei, if you turn it around, you get Pele. That's the highest level of the Torah. That's the level that's parallel to the deepest secrets of the Torah. What do we do now that parallels that in the future? What do we do now that we will deserve to get this, that we are actually doing it now, that's preparing the world for this level of godliness? So the Rebbe says, learn Chassidus. Learning Chassidus is the deepest of the secrets there is. We are tasting from it. We have not reached, obviously, the highest, deepest levels of Chassidus, because Torah Hashem from me, meaning there's levels that we will never reach right now, but we are tasting from the secrets. And therefore,
It's like the Friday.
exactly, we are preparing the world for the level of Atzmut, and that's going to be a complete Dira Batachtonim. Dira means the Mamash Hashem will be able to dwell here fully, in His full glory. All three levels. So one more point that the Rebbe touches is that obviously if Mashiach is doing this, he's turning the world over. Mashiach is turning the world over right now. Mashiach is preparing us for this age of Mashiach, when Mashiach will come. So just to sum up, right now we said that Aleph in the Geula really hints on those levels of godliness. That Aleph is from Alufo Shel Olam, the master of the world. That's the first stage we're revealing in the world by just doing what the Torah says, by being obedient, by being Nasev Nishma. Right now, we are revealing there's a master in the world. There's a world, but we have to obey Hashem. There's a master of the world. That's Alufo Shel Olam. The second stage is Alfech Chochma, Alfech Bina. That's the Aleph. We are learning Torah. By learning Torah, we are actually introducing Sovev Kol Amin into the world. Sovev Kol Amin. Sovev Kol Amin, that's the second level of godliness. And then the third level of godliness is Aleph, but Pele. You turn the word over. How do you write Aleph? Aleph, Lamed Pei. You turn it over, you get Pele, which is the Pele level in the Torah, which is the deepest part of the Torah, deepest secrets of the Torah that are revealed through now learning Chassidus. We bring them down. We'll actually see them openly when Mashiach comes. The Rebbe finishes off. I'm going to leave the instructions the Rebbe gives us to do. Obviously, the Rebbe said we have to learn from all of this what we actually have to do in order to bring Mashiach faster. That's the whole reason for the Sikha. So the Rebbe says, that if Mashiach is turning the world over like this, he has to be the one who obviously includes all those levels. So, where do we see this in the Rambam? The Rebbe says that it says about Mashiach that who mi David HaMelech mi Zera Shlomo. The Rebbe says we understand why Mashiach comes from David HaMelech because kingship was given to David HaMelech. Once Hashem made David HaMelech a king, he made a king forever. His seed will be kings forever. Don't have to be anointed, don't have to have Sanhedrin, don't have to have judges, nothing. It's very, by the way, it strikes a lot of the questions people have outside. How do you know, could be the Rebbe, could be anyone? No. It has to be, the first requirement, the Rambam says, it has to be from King David, from the family of King David. Rebbe's lineage goes from the father and the mother, both. You see it.
That's cool.
Yeah, Rebbe's lineage. You have the whole lineage, all leading up to the Maharal Miprag. Everyone knows, there's no question about it.
It's easy because
Maybe you talk about
Yeah, he wrote on his tombstone, and he also would sign his letters like that. So why is it important to know that Mashiach also comes from Shlomo HaMelech? The Rambam says it's Mizera Shlomo. This is not just for to know which family it comes from, or from the lineage, or from the tree, family tree. No, this is in order to, the Rebbe says, David HaMelech had the advantage, the greatness of kingship. He had the mila of kingship. Shlomo HaMelech had the mila that, and this is unbelievable. You listen to this. His wisdom was so great. Vaterev chochmat Shlomo mechochmat Mitzrayim. He learned, he knew the Torah well. He knew the Egyptian. He knew all the secular wisdoms as well. In his days, economy, the karkala, the money was on the streets. There was not enough room in storage houses to store the money that he had, until he had to take big bowls that would like be the size of this room, right, of gold and silver, and he had to literally melt them in order to he didn't have a place to store them. So there was plenty of everything, and not one nation dare lift their finger at Shlomo HaMelech and start with him. Everyone was totally and automatically totally bottled, totally nullified and subjugated to Shlomo HaMelech because of his wisdom. What does it say about Mashiach? Imagine this was the wisdom of Shlomo HaMelech. You know how much wisdom Mashiach will have? Shlomo HaMelech will look like a little baby right here in front of Melech HaMashiach. It will have no comparison to the Chochmah. And how did the whole world, because the days of Shlomo HaMelech is a prototype to what the days of Mashiach will be. The whole world was at peace because of Shlomo HaMelech's wisdom. You imagine? So imagine what it will be like when Mashiach comes. If the whole world was subjugated to Shlomo HaMelech, king. That's why the Rambam says he has to say that Melech HaMashiach will come both from David HaMelech and Shlomo HaMelech. Why? Because huh? Yeah, sure. That's David's son, direct son is Shlomo HaMelech. Yeah, but chose him to be the king. And the Rebbe said, the Rambam says clearly that Shlomo HaMelech has to be from Zera Shlomo. Mashiach has to be from Zera Shlomo. Yeah? So, therefore, Rambam wants to say that Mashiach will have both qualities. The quality of David HaMelech, kingship. He will be a king. He will be a melech. At the same time, melech v'rav. He'll also be the wisest man. And because of this, because of his wisdom, imagine if Shlomo HaMelech, with his wisdom, was able to make the whole world be at peace. Melech HaMashiach will be 100 times smarter than Shlomo HaMelech. Will make the world at peace for sure. And the Rebbe says, the Geula is for us. If Melech HaMashiach has these qualities in him, yes, how he turns the world over because he has the 3 stages of the Aleph, so each and every one of us, when we open up the Sefer Torah, on Yom Tov we say V'Iskayim Banu. You know, when we open up the Sefer Torah, one of the words we say over there, that you should be fulfilled by us. V'nach alav ruach Hashem, just like we said those verses about Mashiach himself, that we are actually talking about us. We're saying all these verses about ourselves, because these levels are also in us. So the Rebbe goes on to discuss how these levels are in us. The Aleph Shalom, Aleph Ulpana, learning Torah, and Aleph of Pele, of learning Chassidus, comes from the Chochmah in the Nefesh, the Keter Sheba Nefesh, the Atik you mean, not just Ari Champin, but Atik you mean the Koch in the Nefesh that has the power for every Jew to reach those levels. We get them from Moshe Rabbeinu, we get them from the leader of the generation. So what is the instruction? What's the main instruction from everything? The main instruction is we have to learn. We saw just now, the Rebbe proved us, those levels are coming about through our learning now. If we are learning now a lot, this is not just simply learning what to do, what not to do, or learning halacha, but learning, really delving into learning, because what we're going to do when Mashiach comes, lo yeh esek olam ela, that the world will not do anything but learn Hashem. So the Rebbe says, by learning now, Chassidus, learning the revealed part of the Torah, that helps us bring the revealed part of the first stage of the Aleph. The second stage, learning Torah, learning Gemara, learning Mishnah, learning that brings the second level. Learning Chassidut and learning Beshefa, learning plenty, brings to all these levels. And we have to spread this instruction to everyone. And the Rebbe says this is mainly, and the main instruction of everything is to learn. And obviously learning in Yani Mashiach V'Geula, the Rebbe says last week, this makes Mashiach come even faster when we learn this part of the Torah with emphasis. In other words, you have to learn every part, but more emphasis on matters that deal with Mashiach. The Rebbe says that makes Mashiach even come even faster. Thank you. Beautiful. Should happen now. That's the main thing.